Do you want to become a licensed U.S. Customs broker? Are you having trouble passing the exam or don't know how to study for it? It doesn't matter if this is your first attempt or your fifth. Everyone can use some extra help to pass. For those of you who have not taken the exam yet, no, it's no walk in the park. Only around 15% of people who take it pass, but don't let that discourage you. And just because it's open book does not mean it will be easy to find the answers. You'll have 4.5 hours to complete 80 questions. That gives you only around 3 minutes to answer each. So, with all of this in mind, we have come up with 7 tips that will help you better prepare for the U.S. Customs broker exam. First, we need to know where U.S. Customs is pulling answers from for each exam category. So the 19 CFR is roughly 2,000 pages long, and the Harmonized Tariff Catalog is even longer. Simply put, it is impossible to try to memorize all the previously tested regulations and general notes, so don't waste your time trying. But if we look at past exams, we can whittle down where most of the answers are being pulled from for each of the 14 exam categories seen here. Organize your material to help you quickly find the answers that you're looking for. We highly recommend that you spend the extra money on a catalog rack. That way you can organize all the material in one place that is easy to navigate. As seen here, use tabs to indicate the different parts of the 19 CFR and the different general notes and chapters of the Harmonized Tariff Catalog. This may be a little tedious at first, but it will save you a lot of time during the exam. Most importantly, be strategic with your highlighting. Try just highlighting the alphanumeric subparts so you can quickly tell which regulations are covered in that part. Use a blue pen to underline time frames that are important. Maybe use a red pen to underline form names. And in addition, if you want, use green to underline monetary values. Practice classifying items. Classification is always the largest section of the exam, somewhere between 15 to 20 questions. So, if you miss all of the classification questions, it's almost a guarantee that you will not pass the exam. Make sure you study the general rules of interpretations found at the beginning of the General Notes section in the Harmonized Tariff Catalog. These 6 rules are crucial to memorize in order to properly classify items. It's also important that you always check section and chapter notes in the catalog. This is where you will find exclusions and important definitions that will determine the proper classification code. One of the best kept secrets from CBP is their informed compliance publications. Most of these publications cover classification. They go into great detail about classifying apparel, textiles, metals, and so on. Understand some key valuation rules. While the valuation section of the exam does not usually have too many questions, these rules can spill over in the other sections of the exam, like practical exercises and entry categories. Focus on transactional value, assists, merchandise processing fee, and harbor maintenance fees. Become familiar with the CBP 7501 form. If you've not had much real-world experience with this form, it can be a little messy to understand. Luckily, CBP has provided the 7501 instruction sheet, which breaks down every box on the form and what all the data means. Typically, questions covering the 7501 will provide a picture of a partially filled out form and then ask you to fill in some blanks. This is usually where port codes or ISO country codes come into question. This is also where some other classification information comes into play, such as unit of measure and duty rates. Start studying 3 to 4 months before the exam. You do not need to put hours in every day, but if you keep working towards familiarizing yourself with the material, it will help tremendously. Repetition here is key. And finally, tip number 7 may be the most obvious, but hands down the most important. You need to take practice exams. Luckily, CBP offers every past exam with answers to the public. Now, don't need to take practice exams from too far back in the past. You only need to go back about 3 to 4 years tops. Remember, regulations and the harmonized tariff codes change every year. You don't want to practice old exams against current regulations and HTS codes. If you want to go the extra mile to ensure you pass the exam, come check out the U.S. Customs Broker Exam Prep course at importacademy.com. With 14 lessons, quizzes, study guides, and reference guides, you will be given the tools needed to help you pass the exam. Try the demo today.